Good morning. This is going to be a short video, but I had to make it. And then maybe I'll give myself a rest for the rest of the day because I've been putting a lot of videos out. I had a thought last night while I was writing a response to somebody, and I thought it was rather clever. So of course I want to capture the cleverness, you know, and because for me clever comes, it's not a common occurrence. So when it does appear, I like to jump on it and say, hey, you know, this is what I think, or rather what came to me last night. Christians already know there's no such thing as God. And, you know, apologists, what is this? Presuppositional, it's a long word early in the morning. Presuppositional apologists like to claim what an entire group of people believe, all based on a few sentences in a book written by anonymous writers. Pretty likely a lot of them hired by the church. They want to basically judge a whole group of people and what is in the minds of every individual in a whole group of people based on a few sentences in a book and what a book says. I'm basing what I'm saying on what I see around me. The people who, you know, look at Bigfoot enthusiasts. Bigfoot enthusiasts. Okay? These people are trying to claim that Bigfoot really exists. A lot of them are people that just, you know, they look at the shows that are on TV about Bigfoot and they decide, well, you know, it could be, you know, and they go camping with their kids and they tell Bigfoot stories, you know, scare the kids. But, you know, it doesn't really matter to them very much whether or not a Bigfoot exists. It's just, you know, they think he might exist because, you know, there's these interesting little clips now and then, but they you know, it doesn't really matter to them too much. And so they don't really do anything. They sit at home and drink beer. But the ones that make the you know, that really stake their reputation on it, the ones that maybe are scientists or people that know something about, you know, biology or whatever. Another big word that my brain is not coming up with right now. They're not only publicly, you know, stating what their claim is, they're out there doing everything imaginable to find the evidence to convince all the people who don't believe them. They're out there. They're that convinced. They're so convinced that this creature exists that they are spending tons of time with their life tramping through the woods looking for this creature. Okay, so you got with Christians, you got a bunch of them that, you know, they go to church, they have faith that this is true, and that's enough for them. You know, they're not really making a whole big fuss about it. They're not making a lot, you know, a stink about it, whatever. They're, sorry, pardon me, it's early, and I had 3.5 hours of sleep last night because I was up late. And I've got about this much drunk, I'm like drunk. Yeah, I guess that's the right word, of my coffee. So I really am out of it this morning. So anyway, trying to get back to what I was thinking. Okay, we're comparing Christians to Bigfoot enthusiasts. Okay, your average Christian is just going on faith that, you know, this is the way it is, and I believe it, and da-da-da-da-da. But the more outspoken ones, the ones that, you know, go to atheist channels and bang them over the head and tell them, shame on you for believing what you do, and you should be ashamed of yourself, and you're going to hell, and blah, 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 blah. These people, the people that make videos and say that atheism has a fatal flaw, you know, and all these things about how atheists think this, and atheists think that, and atheists believe this. These people making the claims and declaring that a God exists and declaring it loudly, rather like those Bigfoot people putting their reputation on the line. Do you see them out there looking for evidence? Are they so sure of the fact that a God exists and that we're all wrong that they are out there scouring the world trying to find evidence for God, trying to run tests to find out, to prove how God has an effect on the world? Because of, I think that makes a lot of sense. If God has some kind of effect on this world, as Tracy from the Atheist Experience pointed out, which I think it's a very valid observation, there would be a way to test that. Do you see any Christians who are scientists trying to test the effect that God has on the world? You would think that that would have that particular science would have a name, like all the other sciences do. If they're scientists and they're actually busily working to test the effect that God has on the world, what would they be called? Cosmologists? Or they'd be out scouring the world, like I said, looking for evidence, physical, tangible evidence for this being, so that they can prove to all of us skeptics that it exists. They'd be out there, but they're not. There's archaeologists who are Christians, and they might dig up something and, oh, well, here's remnants to a city. This supports Christianity, but they're not actually out there looking for evidence for Christianity. They're probably out there looking for evidence to a town that is mentioned in the Bible, and that town, whether that town exists or not, doesn't prove Christianity. It just proves that a town exists, and if they find the evidence, then they might say, oh, this proves Christianity. But it doesn't prove evidence for God. It doesn't prove the religion. It just proves that this town existed. So anyway, so that's my declaration. Christians like to declare, or some Christians like to declare that atheists know that there is a God and we just deny it. Well, I think deep down inside, Christians know there's no such thing as God. Because if they didn't know that, they'd be out doing the work to try to produce the evidence to convince the skeptics, just like the Bigfoot hunters. So that's what I base my big old statement on. Do I really believe it? Do I really believe that deep down inside Christians know there's no such thing as God? I think they have a fear of that. I do. I think that they have a fear of that, and that they are constantly seeking affirmation from other Christians and leaders that their beliefs are right. And they have to recharge their batteries, because as long as they have their batteries recharged, those little nagging doubts stay very quiet. They don't have to listen to them. But so yeah, I think they're afraid of the possibility. But do I really make the claim that a whole group of people don't believe in something? No, because I'm not that stupid. I'm just saying it sounds just as absurd to an atheist to hear a Christian say, "You do believe in God because my Bible says so," as for me to say, "You do believe that there's no such thing as God, because if you did believe, you'd be out looking for the evidence, wouldn't you?" So yes. Anyway, I gotta get to my coffee. If you've been watching, thanks. Bye.